While Jesus was teaching, suddenly a leader of the synagogue came in and knelt before him, saying, "My daughter has just died, but come and lay your hand on her, and she will live." And Jesus got up and followed him with his disciples. Then suddenly, a woman who had been suffering from hemorrhages for 12 years came up behind him and touched the fringe of his cloak. For she said to herself, "If I only touch his cloak, I will be made well." Jesus turned and, seeing her, he said, "Take heart, daughter, your faith has made you well." And instantly the woman was made well. Hello, my name is Dr. Greg Neal, and I'm the senior pastor of Grace United Methodist Church in Des Moines, Iowa. I love this story. This is one of the most famous healing stories to be found, with minor variations in all three of the Synoptic Gospels. The Synoptic Gospels are Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and they're called synoptic because they are synonymous with each other. Each Gospel tells the stories about Jesus and present Jesus' character, life, and ministry in ways that are very similar to, and in fact complementary with, the other two. Today, we know that this is the case because the authors who wrote Matthew and Luke each used the Gospel of Mark as their outline for their Gospels, filling in much of the teachings of Jesus from another document that Mark didn't have. One of the fascinating aspects of the Gospels, and this is true for all four of our canonical Gospels, is that they relate the stories about Jesus to us in ways that speak to us today, wherever we are, whenever we are, and whoever we are. That's true for this healing story. This story is sometimes called a healing on the way to a healing. But what's important here is really not the healing. Oh, it's an element within the story, but the healing really wasn't its focus. No, what's important is the woman's faith in Jesus. A faith that wasn't passive, but active. A faith that impelled her to come up behind Jesus, disregarding cultural conventions, the biblical rules and regulations that said she should stay away, the kinds of rejection that she must have experienced due to her illness, and touch the fringe of his garment. The story's focus is on her faith. Join us for worship on Sunday, July the 2nd, as we explore the question of faith, the anatomy of faith, which bridges the gap in our lives between fear and hope, and calls us to move and do and be the kind of people that God wants us to be. Worship begins at 10:15 a.m. U.S. Central Time, both in person and online. Until then, may God's grace be with you.